Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another Creative Sim for the Disney Save. Today we're making the first household for Moonwood Mill, going alongside the last home that we created based on Jack Skellington's home from Nightmare Before Christmas. And so that means, of course, we have to make Jack and Zero, who will be the only two Sims living there. Jack's aspiration is good vampire. He is a self-absorbed, creative, gloomy Sim. He will, of course, be a vampire. His two different versions, the dark version and the regular, like, I guess it's more so you could walk around in everyday life. And then there's your dark form, which is what your Sim will transform into when they do vampire activities. We decided to go with more of like the Santa Claus look. He's got some Christmas inspired outfits. He has the Father Winter costume that you can have as an option. There's a couple there depending on which version of him you're using or if he's in his dark form or not. We've got lots of variety. As far as his career goes, I'm kind of torn between fully enrolling him in the politician career or having him register for the Ministry of Labor and just doing like a costume career like Pumpkin King. Let me know what you would like to see. Jack is a mostly gentle and composed monster. He can be mean and selfish when it comes to his own, desires. He earned his Halloween town honor of being named the Pumpkin King through charisma and great energy. Everyone in town idolizes and looks up to Jack. Although Jack can be optimistic and ambitious, he is a bit naive. He tends to see things through his eyes only, not thinking how his choices might affect others. He's put his friends and loved ones in danger in his efforts to transform Halloween Town into his own vision. Currently, Halloween Town is creepy, dark, and filled with ghouls and monsters. He wants to bring more light and color to the town. Particularly, Jack has recently become infatuated with Christmas. He wants Halloween Town to feel like Christmas Town instead. Whether out of complete boredom or obsessive tendencies, he will cause harm to the townsfolk and others to see his vision through. He enjoys being the leader and public town figure, decorating for the holidays, snow activities, scaring, and pumpkin carving. He will have a little bit of fame. I don't feel like he is as famous enough as like a Santa character, because that's one that everybody sort of like has a version for, even if you don't call it Santa, maybe Father Christmas, whatever you call it. There's a lot of variations of that character. I feel like it's very easy to recognize and maybe give a little bit higher fame to. But for Jack, he's like this nondescript Pumpkin King character. And I think about just like in real life, Halloween is really, really big in the US, but living in the UK now, it's not as big here. It's not as important. I don't even know if there would be like a canon figurehead for the holiday at all, even in America where it's really big. So as far as like he is known amongst the townsfolk, like Halloween Town civilians, of course he would have fame, but outside of that, probably not. It would be really nice if the fame system had like a way to do like local fame, like you're only really famous in the world that you exist in and not really much outside of that. I feel like that happens a lot. Like there's local celebrities, there's people you see on commercials. I did this with Al from Al's Toy Barn. I gave him a little bit of celebrity status because I do think that people would know him from TV and commercials, but only really canonly inside of the Toy Story universe. So it's kind of hard to balance that there. So like I mentioned, the two forms for Jack, they're pretty much identical. I knew way back when I first started the save file that this face paint was basically going to be saved for Jack Skellington. It's really the only way to make like a skeleton looking sim, especially something that looks similar enough to Jack, without actually doing a skeleton sim. And some people might be wondering why I didn't choose that route, and it's simply because you can't actually put clothes on skeleton sims. So there is ways to like glitch them into the game. I think they come from Jungle Adventure, but you can't dress them and it kind of defeats the purpose. So I tend to avoid them, although I would like maybe some places where we could use them in the future. If you have any really great ideas, please let me know. And then he also needed like his Halloween form, he needed like his Pumpkin King form. So I used the Patchy costume that you can get if you do like the extended catalog, if you unlock it. It's kind of like a debug costume. It's really the only opportunity that we'll have to use something like that. And then Father Winter's outfit, just because obviously it's what we have that's closest to like Santa Claus in game, but the one that he actually wears in the film is a little bit more of like a red suit. So I gave him a couple of options for you to choose from depending on how you feel about it. And then we have none other than Zero. I'm so excited to show you guys this dog. He came out so cute. Please ignore in the video, I believe that he starts as a she, but I did fix it at the end. I caught it, no worries. Now I started out by making him obviously alive because we have to start all Sims that way. And then we debated really heavily on Patreon and just me personally whether or not he should be a ghost sim. He would be one of the only ghost dogs that we have, and I really wanted a ghost or two living in Moonwood Mill. And he really is a ghost, right? Like that's what his character is supposed to be. But after I made him and I was looking at him and he's got this cute orange pumpkin nose and the bright red collar, and he just looked so good when he wasn't in the ghost form. He really, really, truly looks like himself. And then when you actually make him into a sim, he loses some of those details because ghost sims really, they take on like a full body color, and it's always based off of the emotion that the ghost is feeling. So I've tried him in live mode in both forms, and he looks really, in my opinion, he looks better alive. But I put a poll on Patreon, and my patrons decided, even based off of the photos, that they preferred to have him actually be a ghost because it is really his character at the end of the day. So in the save download, he'll come as a ghost, but I will be putting the live version of him on the gallery for download for those of you who are in love with the first version like I am, and that's probably the one that I'll use. But again, it's nice to have a ghost, and specifically a ghost dog, living in Moonwood Mill because we haven't had one so far in the save, so this might be one of the very few opportunities I get to do a proper one. I'm gonna try to include some clips of how he looks as a ghost as well at the very end, just so that you can kind of see. And I know that was a short one today, but I hope you enjoyed. The next video will be another residential for another very famous Nightmare Before Christmas character. Stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in my description box down below or the one at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next one.